Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Steph. So it's Sunday evening and it's like 5 or 6 o'clock and I'm getting the Sunday scaries. And I've also just realized that like, I need to get off my phone. Are you one of those people that's just like on your phone all the time? Well, I am. So I really want to switch my screen time for productivity. I don't necessarily want to switch it exactly for just reading. I really want to accomplish some things this week. I haven't narrowed it down yet. Obviously, it's the evening before I have to go back into the work week. So I'll probably wake up tomorrow morning and do my list and get that all organized. But the gist of what we'll be doing this week is exactly what it is, swapping my screen time for productivity and reading. The times that I think I would be scrolling through like TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, I want to be listening to an audiobook and accomplishing some spring cleaning because I have a lot of spring cleaning that I could be doing, should be doing. And I just have some general things that I should have done months, years ago that I've been putting off because mental health is a thing. It exists in my life. We try to coexist at times, and a lot of the times it wins. But that being said, I am essentially going to do a few things tonight that I think will set me up for a good week. And one of those things is utilizing my downtime feature as well as limiting social media time and offloading TikTok. So I'm gonna completely offload TikTok because that's the one app that I get sucked into the most, and I just think I don't need it on my phone because even if I give myself a limited amount of time that I can be on social media, I will probably waste it on TikTok. So I'm offloading that completely. That is off the table for this week. In terms of Instagram, Twitter, Discord, I'm not actually adding YouTube in this, but I think those are really the only 3 social medias that I would use like to waste time. I'm going to limit 3 hours a day. Discord might be a little bit different because I don't feel like it's a time waster because I'm chatting with my patrons and I love doing that. So that one I'm a little iffy about, but for right now, I'm going to put it on my 3-hour limit for the day. If anything else, just to help me stay off my phone and keep me focused in the moments when I want to get whatever I decide to do accomplished. But on top of that, downtime, I will set for 7:30 p.m. So I'll have like an hour and a half after I get home to like check things before it's downtime, and then I will do downtime from 7:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. And usually I have my do not disturb on until 8 a.m. anyway, so this isn't something completely new for me. But for downtime, it just means that I can't click into those apps, and my whole goal is that I will not click into any of those apps. And my whole goal here, besides obviously accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish by switching the screen time, is that I don't go into those apps because I want to come out of this with a better habit than going into it. And I know that a week isn't enough time to completely establish a habit in your life, but I'm hoping that once I push myself into this, I'll want to keep up the habit. So that's the overarching goal. And that's what we're doing this week. We are trying to be productive as possible. Good morning. Okay, so I woke up today with the urge to be productive this week because this weekend I feel like I was very productive. I got a lot of things done in terms of like cleaning and organizing some stuff, but there's a lot of things in my house that need organizing. There's a lot of videos that I need to finish and edit. There's reading that I need to get done. There's taxes I need to finish. There's some spring cleaning and organization that I wanted to do. So I feel like it's time for me to swap my screen time for productivity and reading. You know, because the screen really gets me. I'm definitely someone who can lose hours on social media. It's the truth. That's who I am. So it's Monday at 7 o'clock and I'm going to dedicate this week to getting my shit together. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna make a list of what we want to do today. I have this notebook that I made at work. We had a staff day and one of the activities was like making your own journal collage thing. It's just a blank journal and I collaged all of this on here. Today I already know what I want to do, and that is to file taxes and to edit my Patreon spoilery vlog video. As for the rest of the week, I just need to get organized in certain areas of my life. I need to clean this office. There are a lot of books in here from the readathon that I hosted and the games that we played. I brought a bunch of books in here for those games and I just have not put them back. But it doesn't really matter because my bookshelves are a disaster. So I need to organize my bookshelves, but I also need to organize my Pango and take some things off of there there and I'm gonna go through the books that Jared and I are getting rid of. So we're gonna take some to our local used bookstores. We're saving some for Pango, and then I don't know what we'll do with the rest. It'll probably all just end up going to the local used bookstore, and probably some to friends of the library. I love giving some of my books to friends of the library. I love my friends of the library so much. I also need to organize this office in general. I need to clean in here and organize some files that I just haven't organized in forever. And then there's a corner downstairs, which is my art corner, but also where I've put all my boxes for Pango or potential Pango orders, and I need to organize that because that is pure chaos and I can't look at it any longer. So I'm gonna try to organize that this week. And just generally, I don't want to be on my phone all the time. Obviously, like I said in the introduction of this video, I'll have some screen time, and for the most part I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, especially when I'm doing things around the house. So I will likely be listening to things on my phone, you know, so I will be looking at my phone for that. Let me make this list and then we'll go straight into taxes and editing a video, and then I have to get ready to go to work.
Hello. You in the backyard of your old farm in the summer. Stayed there for 3 weeks where we learned to love each other. Wrote you letters, sent a message to leave that day. Skip to the present, haven't been so happy ever. Sitting in your room, working on my first record. Skip to the present, and I still haven't released it. But it's okay, 'cause
Good morning, it's Tuesday. So yesterday I actually did accomplish a lot. I got my taxes done. I edited a video. I do need to edit another video, which I'm going to do tomorrow morning. I read 185 pages of The Fool's Assassin. Oh no. Really loving this. Really loving it. Really nervous. Really nervous about where it's gonna go, but I'm actually doing a separate vlog where I talk in depth about my reading experience with this series. So look out for that if you're interested, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's not what I expected, but also like I went into it not really knowing exactly what to expect, except I'm just assuming character deaths and I'm just assuming devastation. So I feel like day one was pretty successful. I mainly had 2 tasks for myself and I did accomplish them. So today I'm giving myself 1 task because I think it's gonna take up, well, I guess it's 2 tasks. 2 tasks that pertain to these bookshelves that are a disaster, which I showed in another vlog, but I will show you today. I have this thing where I like stack books up, and they're books that I'm like, I think I'm gonna read them soon, or I want to use them for video ideas, and then maybe that video is like something I have planned for the future, so that stack just sits there and things get really messy. Not only that, I have all my Pango stuff down here. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks of books that I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sell on Pango. That's not gonna happen. I have a different plan for it. And then I have a bucket full of books where half of them are listed on Pango and half of them I need to list on Pango. So that's why I say this is like a 2-fold goal for me today, right? Because I want to clean up these bookshelves and I may actually take some off that I know I'm never gonna read. But also I would like to organize my Pango books. I know I said this yesterday. In terms of Pango, I'm gonna take out the ones that I think like people will be interested in, and then the rest of them are gonna go to a combination of some used bookstores near me and my friends of the library. So I think today I'll organize my shelf as much as I can get done, and then I'll organize my Pango books into those different stacks, like the ones that are actually going to go on Pango, the ones I'm taking off of Pango, and the ones that are going to go to these various places. So yeah, let's get started. I have my headphone in so that I can listen to my audiobook, because again, we are trying to be productive in reading, but also getting my life together. Let's get to it. Let's organize this disaster. I should show you what it looks like before. and then after. I don't know if I have enough memory space for a time lapse, but I'll try. So yeah, these are my unread shelves, and like I said, there's just stacks and stacks of things. These are, I'm probably not even gonna mess with this. These are sequels, so I've taken them off my shelf if I haven't read the first one yet, and the first one probably lives here somewhere. I say these are just sequels, but actually some of them are books that I've borrowed from Jared, and some of them, like in the back here, my Vampire Academy and like my Hunger Games, I've read all of those. So yeah, these two stacks are mainly just sequels and a few books from Jared, like Rebecca. So this right here is Pango related. So the bucket is, except for what's on top, the bucket's everything listed on Pango, and then these are from my Love It or List It for the most part, and I'm going to list those soon. And then these stacks, so these three, this one, and this one, they're all the ones that I need to go through to see what I want to put on Pango. And then this is my red shelf, and the stacks for these are like, this stack was the stack that I was going through for my best of the year. Both of these stacks actually were for me narrowing down my best of 2022. These are just like recently finished, and I was probably talking about them and then I just put them back. I don't know, it's a disaster, okay? I actually feel like I need to eventually, hopefully in the next year, switch this singular shelf to be unread and this shelf, these two shelves, to be my read shelves. But that's not gonna happen until I can read most of these, which I have plans. Don't worry. It looks like a lot, but I have plans. Okay, after 2 hours, I've finished. It's not gonna look amazing to y'all, I think, but there will be a difference, okay? There will be a difference. Okay, starting with Pango. So I went through that and I got rid of some of the ones that were listed. So now these two stacks are what I need to list, and that stack there is what's still listed. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks will be going to a bookstore or friends of the library. But now the shelves, like, they look pretty decent. Obviously I still have some stacks, like these stacks are for videos. This whole shelf is for a video. And then we have this red shelf. So obviously I had to make my Robin Hobb shelf, but I'm reading the last 3, so they're missing right there. If you're wondering what the stacks in the back are, those are also read books. I need to go through all of those at some point and make sure that I still really want them. But for now, what I've seen, I do want. And I did get rid of some books in these stacks, but I was just like so in it that I can't remember, so there is no unhaul. But for now, what's in there, I think I would reread many of those, but I do definitely need to reevaluate it because I'm trying to only keep things that I will reread and like I absolutely love, which is why this is so sparse. But yeah, I did it. Accomplished my bookshelf goal. But I guess the other part of it is tomorrow I'm going to list all of those books on Pango, and then it'll probably not be until the weekend when I can get the rest of these books out of here. While doing that, I barely looked at my phone. I answered a few text messages, but I barely looked at my phone. And I am now at 41% of Fool's Assassin, which before I think I was at like 28%. So I've read quite a bit, and I can't believe I'm already almost halfway through this book. I'm really, really enjoying it. Like I said before, not what I expected, but still having a great time. So yeah, I'm really proud of myself. I'm gonna make lunch and then get ready to go to work. It's my late day, so I close. I'm glad that I got this all done in the morning because I was like, maybe I'll come home and do the rest of it. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna wanna come home and just relax. Hello, good morning. What is it, day 3? We're Wednesday. I'm gonna be honest. In the morning, I usually spend an hour catching up on things on Instagram, things on Patreon, things on Discord. I sometimes look at Twitter. I have offloaded TikTok, so I don't get sucked into that at all. But I do spend an hour just catching up on that. And then I'll just listen to my audiobook and maybe watch a few YouTube videos. I'm not really counting YouTube watching in the screen time, because I actually haven't been spending that much time watching YouTube these days. Like, it's not the thing that's sucking at my time. It's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's Twitter, it's Discord. YouTube hasn't been the place that I've been going to recently, which is really weird because I'm usually a big YouTube watcher. That's why I vlog, because I love watching vlogs, but I just haven't really been in the mood. I've mainly just been listening to audiobooks. I think that's just because I went into a really bad slump last month, so I'm kind of like catching up and getting back into the groove of reading and listening to audiobooks, whereas last month I was watching a lot of YouTube. Anyway, all that being said, I have checked off 4 things on my list. So it was to do my taxes, edit a video, organize / clean up my bookshelf, and then organize what's going to go on Pango versus what I'm giving to my little free library or friends of the library and my used bookstore. Today, my hope was to get those things listed on Pango and then start going through the paperwork in my office. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's 10. I have not been feeling great today, so I haven't done much of anything. I'm gonna take a shower and hopefully that'll make me feel a little bit more alive. And if I'm gonna choose one of the 2 things to do, it's definitely gonna be going through paperwork, because listing things on Pango can be so tedious, just having to figure out all the right things for it. So I don't think I'm in the headspace to do that today, but that will hopefully for sure be happening tomorrow. Tomorrow's also my Friday, so I think tomorrow I'll feel a little more productive. I usually feel really good on Thursdays because I know I'm going into the weekend. But again, I'm not trying to be too harsh on myself about whether or not I get these things done. I'm just at the very least trying to start the projects, because once I start something, I feel like I'm really good about accomplishing it. It's the getting started that's very hard for me. It's the thought process of doing the thing. That's just so overwhelming for some reason. So I think this is just what I needed, is the push to get started on the things. That being said, reading wise, I think last I updated you, I was 40% into Fool's Assassin. I am now 60% in. So I've read this much. I've read this much. And the book itself is 630 pages. I'm at page 384. So I still have, 300 and something pages left. But wow, this book is just so unexpected for me in so many ways. And like I said, I am doing a spoilery vlog for this if you're interested and you've read it. But for those who don't want to get spoiled for things, I know I had mentioned like I didn't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't exactly this. And that just holds true for this whole book. Like, I need to remember to expect the unexpected from Robin Hobb, because this was extremely unexpected. Some of the plot points that happen in here, I was like, I couldn't have predicted that to save my life unless I had looked up spoilers or had been spoiled in some capacity accidentally. Like, I wouldn't have come up with this kind of plot. But now that certain plot lines are unfolding in here, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. And things are tying together really well, it seems, with what we've learned in the last, 4 series, but more so the Fitz trilogies. Like, the more you've learned in those, the more that this makes sense. It's just incredible how Robin Hobb's mind works. Like, obviously, when you're reading those trilogies and when you're reading about Fitz and the Fool and just their overarching goals, like the Fool's goal within specifically Tawny Man, but just generally, and the hints that he's constantly been giving throughout the series, and the way that he manifests and shows up, and the riddles that he speaks in, and the things that he's straightforward constantly telling Fitz, but Fitz doesn't take them as straightforward. He thinks that it's just the Fool being the Fool, but no, the Fool is literally telling him what's going to happen, and Fitz just doesn't catch on. Fitz is just like, maybe I'm gonna go about my life like he didn't say this thing to me, and then when it stares me right in the face, I'm not gonna get it until way late into that plot point. Don't get me wrong, I love Fitz so much, but he is a dumbass sometimes. But that's why we love him. He's like a little golden retriever. He is so sweet. He is so kind, he is so loving, sometimes a little selfish and in his own head about things and his grief, but nonetheless loves people the way that he knows how, and the way that he's been taught to love, and the way that he's been loved. But sometimes his little brain, the little wheels in his brain aren't turning fast enough. And I'm like, Fitz, come on. And you know, Robin Hobb does this thing, which I've mentioned in other videos, that she just casually drops that someone has died, or the death of somebody will be so casual that you're like, wait, what just happened? What did you just say? This has happened to me on multiple occasions in these books where I've had to reread passages to make sure that my understanding of what happened is actually what happened. And it usually is. I'm usually correct, but I'm baffled and shocked and shaken by the way that she decides to tell you these things. But I think that's like the point, right? Is that death is just so sudden and unexpected. So like, she does drop hints. There are certain character deaths where the hints are there. It's just, I ignore them. For my own sanity, I've been ignoring them. But like, there's been a few in here where I'm like, wait, what is going on right now? What are you talking about? But honestly, I'm just happy to be back. I'm having a really good time. I'm trying to steadily go through this book, but also slowly go through this book. I've been known to marathon Robin Hobb books very fast. And in theory, you could say that I've been reading this quickly for a 600-page book. And especially at the pace in which she writes these books, the pacing is slow. It's slow, and she's setting you up for things. She's giving you all you need to get to the point of where things come to a head. Things are slow and lingering, and it makes you think, and you really have to like pay attention to what she's doing in these books. And I think that's why people think that they're boring, is because she adds a lot of detail, but those details really matter. Everything is in the details with Robin Hobb. That's my opinion. Like, sure, these books could be shorter, but the details that she gives you and how they are significant in some way to something that's gonna happen in the book just feels so satisfying when it pays off. Anyway, point being, I could probably finish this today or tomorrow. Most likely tomorrow. Again, I'm not trying to like rush myself through these. I'm desperate to know where it's going, obviously, but I'm not trying to rush myself through it because this is the last trilogy that I have. It's the last trilogy. I'm trying to take my time, but I also am like, I need to know. I need to know what happens. Hi, it's still Wednesday. I just got home from work, and I'm gonna admit something. I spent a lot more time on my phone today than I intended because I didn't feel good and I didn't feel like doing anything before work. And I'm feeling a little bit better, and I just wanted to like bring out the boxes of things that I want to organize and just sort of look through it. I'm not going to do anything extensive because Zelda is calling my name. Do you hear it? Do you hear Zelda calling me? I do too. So I'm just gonna like look through it real quick, sort of do an overview of what I already know I sort of want to get rid of. And then tomorrow morning, we will dive into this and get it done. We will get it done. I'm like 70% into Fool's Assassin, so let's listen to that while we go through these files. Also, I wanted to mention that, as you saw in the beginning, I put like restrictions on things. I can't even get into, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it very well, I can't even get into these ones. I don't have TikTok on there anymore. If you were wondering how that's going, it's really making me go into Goodreads a lot more, and that's how I know I have a problem. Because why am I just going on Goodreads to just go on a social media app? I have a problem. So I'm glad that I'm doing this. It's really showing me how much of a problem I have, because it makes you see how often you open the apps, and since you can't, you're aware, your brain is aware, like, oh, I can't go on that thing. And the amount of times that I've been doing that, I'm really hoping to train myself to stop going into these apps so often. I don't mind going on social media, but I need to stop letting it rule my life, okay? saw myself at the camera and realized that, oh, this is a look, to say the least. I literally just woke up. Well, I didn't just wake up. I've been awake. I have not slept well because there was like, you know, you ever have those nights where just one thing after the other happens? Like Fitzy, my cat, was bugging me. She was like all over me and in my face. And then if you live in LA, you know, your roof leaks when it rains. And so we woke up to like a noise and I was like, what is that? I thought it was one of the cats. Our roof is leaking. So had to deal with that. And it was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning. And then Olive wakes us up at like 4:30 every morning to try to get fed, even though her feeding time is like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I tried to sleep in a little bit today and didn't really work. So I was just listening to my audiobook and wow, things are happening. It's very stressful, but luckily somebody confirmed with me that what was happening in the book isn't like fully accurate, which is great. Made my stress levels go down a tiny bit. Anyway, as you can tell, we're back with my files. I did way more yesterday than I thought that I would. I actually got through this whole crate here. Now I have this whole crate to get through, and that'll technically be all of my paperwork that I want to get through. The majority of this stuff is actually like old papers from college. I don't know why I was holding on to it, because in my brain years ago I was like, oh yeah, this is some good work that I did. I'm gonna use it for something. What the fuck were you gonna use it for? I mean, at the time, I thought that I was gonna go into a completely different career than I'm actually in. So I understand my mindset, I guess. And this is hilarious to me too, because I'm not necessarily somebody who holds on to things. I can easily get rid of stuff, but I don't know why I was holding on to all this. I also think I just hate the idea of having to go through all this paperwork and look through things. So I just put it off for a very long time. And here we are. I finished. Okay, so I got the paperwork done. I have this little guy. Oh my God. I have this, which is full of stuff that I need to shred. And then this is everything that's being kept, which is not a lot. So really had to sit and ponder that for a while. So that took longer than I expected. I'm going to shower, get ready for the day, and then I have to go to work. But after work, I will make the bed, clean up things in here, like get out all of the like random shit in here that doesn't belong in here, and vacuum. So that will be this room done. And then the Pango stuff, I guess it'll be tomorrow morning. But I'm also meeting Christine for coffee, and I think we're going to a bookstore. So it'll just be my overall goal tomorrow, and then I have to edit tomorrow, and I have reading sprints, and that's like what my productivity is going to be. But if you were curious, my camera is about to die, so I'm not going to talk about it, but I finished Fool's Assassin, and I immediately need to go into the second book. So throughout this productivity time, I did finish a 600+ page book. We'll see how far I get into the second book. Hello, it's Friday, which is my day off, and I just got back from running a bunch of errands with Christine, and we got coffee and things like that. So I'm just getting home. It's like 2 right now. I'm gonna order some food because I haven't eaten at all today, and I don't feel like cooking a whole bunch right before my reading sprints. So I'm gonna relax for the next like 45 minutes before reading sprints start, and then during reading sprints, that is when I'm going to do my other projects, which is listing on Pango and the art corner over there, which I think is going to be an all weekend project. And that, I believe, is the last project that I have that I wrote down that I really wanted to accomplish. So that's promising. I've actually accomplished way more than I thought, but I will admit that Wednesday and Thursday have been the less productive days. I wasn't really feeling it at all. I did stay off my phone for the most part, and I have been really diligent about at night when it hits 7 and my apps go on downtime. I haven't actually been ignoring the limit. The only thing that I use is YouTube, but that's because I watch ASMR to fall asleep. That's the one that's not limited, but I haven't really been watching a lot of YouTube at the moment. But it is just so funny to me how now I just will go on Goodreads. Like, for what? What am I doing on Goodreads? I'll just go on Goodreads to scroll on something. We're 4 or 5 days into this, and I do feel less inclined at night now to try to go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. It's not that in a week I'm gonna lose the habit, but I know in my brain that it's on downtime now, so I do it less often than I did in the first 2 or 3 days. And today I haven't really been on Instagram as often as other days, which is a good sign, or it's just because I've been busy. I will admit that like at work, I tend to get on Instagram and stuff during my breaks, but I'm giving myself leniency, right? I really am just trying to teach myself how to control my social media time. I have 3-hour limit on my thing right now. I don't even think I need a 3-hour limit. I think like 2 hours is enough. And I don't mean it's like 2 hours straight. It's like collectively 2 hours in a day when you're checking things or responding to whatever. But a lot of the times, like, I don't get enough messages to warrant me spending 2 hours on social media. It's different when you're watching YouTube videos, I feel, because YouTube is partially like my television in ways. I don't watch as much TV as I do YouTube. So like that's a little different for me. But why am I on Instagram so much? Why am I on TikTok all the time? Why do I even look at Twitter when it's clearly me just doom scrolling? I have been reaching for my audiobook or my books way more often than before, where I would get really distracted on social media. So I have been getting through books faster than anticipated. Like obviously I have read 1 and almost a half books. So I am halfway through Fool's Errand. Am I on Fool's Errand? I'll pop it up right here so you can see the cover. I can't remember. All the titles are like the same. Robin Hobb really did us dirty with that. But anyway, I'm halfway through this book, and I find that instead of going on social media and scrolling through TikTok or watching YouTube, I have been reaching for my audiobook more than anything else. And I think it's because in my brain, I know that I only have those 3 hours, which is still a lot of time. I only have those 3 hours on social media. It's helping that I'm really into what I'm reading first. And second, I've been playing a lot of Zelda, and, you know, you can get lost in that, and I'll be listening to my audiobook and doing Zelda. Also, I'm doing like a lot of projects that I feel, you know, I've been needing to do. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of factors in what I'm doing right now that's helping me not go on social media as much, but it will be interesting like next week. For example, if I finished all of my major tasks that I wanted to get done, will I be inclined to go on social media more?
Silver dollars and champagne for the trouble. It's a t-shirt in the backseat of your car. Head down just like your father taught you. Stick around when the walls start to fall. Good God, does anybody notice you sat at the table and you listened to her scream? I know we've had a few too many. I'm not sure what to believe. Beauty queen.
Hello, so it's Saturday. I think I gave like a brief update. I ended up editing yesterday and I did reading sprints. So that was my productivity for yesterday. I am now 60% into Fool's Quest, which is the second book in the Fits in the Fool trilogy. So I've definitely been making good progress on my reading. My screen time is down by 60%. So obviously this is working. But today I'm changing plans a little bit. I'm gonna edit the rest of 2 videos. So one of them I only have 18 minutes left to edit, and then the other one I have like an hour left to edit. So I'm going to be editing those today and getting those done. And then tomorrow I'm going to tackle the corner that has like all my art supplies and things like that. I will admit I'm getting really exhausted from constantly doing major tasks every day. I don't think that the big spring cleaning major task thing will continue on past this week. I mean, obviously these major cleaning plans and stuff were for my spring cleaning. It was just for this week, but I do really hope that I can take the limiting my screen time into the rest of my daily routine from here on out, because it has definitely made me get a lot more stuff done. And one of the things I complain about all the time is I'm so good at wasting time. I'm so good at wasting time. Like, if it were a job, I would be employee of the month every single month. I'm that good at wasting time. So, you know, I'm hoping that this is the start of some new habits. And I hope that once I really establish it into my routine, that it will also help my sleep, because that is still suffering. Good morning. I got my screen time update today and it said my screen time was down 72%. That's disgusting. But I've been enjoying my time at night just reading and like getting out of the habit of clicking into social media. I've really been enjoying that. I will say that, you know, I'm obviously taking on pretty big projects that I want to get done. So that's exhausting. That's been exhausting. But the last major thing I'm going to do is my art corner, but I don't know if I'm even going to finish that or not, because I still haven't really decided what I want to do. Also, I'd like to say that my book is great. I think I said I'm doing a spoilery vlog for it, and a lot of revelations in the second book. I'm trying to take it a bit slower since I know I only have 1.5 books left. So I'm trying to take it a little bit slower, but it's hard because so much is happening and I want to keep reading, but I'm also like, oh no, this is all I have left. This is the messy corner, the art corner. And I think I'm going to transfer what's in here into here, but we'll see. So it's not the prettiest on earth. I really want to get a hutch for right here so that I can like make this look nicer and eventually get rid of this, because the bottom part, the green one, is broken. So I'd eventually like to just get rid of this and have like a hutch. And we are planning on selling this bar cart anyway because we don't really use it. I use the other storage container or file cabinet, if that's what you want to call it, the plastic one. We put it in our pantry and we're using that for like all of our cat stuff. But yeah, all of this has like art supplies, and then the bottom ones have a few important documents, and then I still need to organize this better. And obviously my canvases need to go somewhere. I wanted to put them up here, but I kind of like that this is sort of not as cluttered. So yeah, that's it. But while I was doing that, I was listening to Fool's Quest, and I'm now, I think I'm close to 65% in. I'm 500 pages. It's like a little over 500 pages in. And wow, the last 2 scenes that I read were really overwhelming. This is not a spoiler by any means, because literally the first book that exists in this world is called Assassin's Apprentice, and you already know that Fitz is being trained to be an assassin. And in this series, he's 60 years old. So he has this whole scene where he's talking about being an assassin and like what that training means and what kind of skills and ways of thinking that it breeds in you as a person. And it was so interesting seeing that whole scene play out and him going over his thought process of being an assassin and the way his brain thinks so differently and comes to ideas and decisions so differently when he is in need of being an assassin and when he's just living his regular everyday life. It was such a good chapter. Like, I was tearing up at it. And then he has this kind of speech at the end to a character, and I was literally out there going, yes, Fitz, yes. I think per usual, second book, this is probably going to be one of my favorite books of this trilogy. There's a lot in here that has made me just very emotional, but also excited. Robin Hobb's brain is unmatched in my opinion. So yeah, I'm having a really good time. I think I'm gonna relax and play Zelda for the rest of the day. Maybe go get a matcha as a little treat, a little treat. Okay, hello, it's Tuesday, which means that I've officially swapped my screen time for productivity for an entire week, and I'm gonna fill you in on what I did, what I accomplished this week. In terms of screen time, when I did look at it, said that it was down by 75%, which I had mentioned a few days ago that my screen time had said that it was down by 75%, and then I offloaded TikTok, so I didn't go onto TikTok at all this week. As a matter of fact, I still haven't downloaded it, and I think I'm gonna try to keep it like that because it really is a time suck for me. And the whole point of this is that I'm just so good at wasting time. So I can say definitively that I got so much done this week, but I am very exhausted. So I do think there's something to be said about needing moments to just sort of zone out and maybe scroll through something, or I don't know, like watch stupid videos that make you laugh. I think there's something to be said about that because I limited myself to 3 hours on social media. And like I said in one of the updates, I have used like an hour of that in the mornings to respond to things and like get caught up on different messages or things in the Discord, things on Patreon that I hadn't gotten caught up with because my phone had been on downtime since 7:30 p.m. the night before, which it's great. I felt very unplugged. I can't say I slept any better, but I do think that a lot of that was I've had so much anxiety about this series, which sounds so dramatic, but I'm not kidding. I've had so much anxiety about this series. So I finished these 2 books. I actually finished Fool's Quest yesterday while I was cleaning the house. I actually haven't started the 3rd book like I thought that I would because it's been giving me a lot of anxiety. So I definitely think that it's been a really nice experiment to not be on my phone as much. I've definitely noticed myself, especially in the last year, getting really attached to my phone and like being on it more than I want to and feeling like it's the thing I'm constantly reaching for. And the fact that I even said this as well, I was just scrolling Goodreads for what reason? It really made me realize how unhealthy that is. So I think I'm still gonna stick to having downtime, but I might put it a little later. And I kind of want to try this experiment in the realm of sleep again. I did this once before. I did a whole video where I tried to read before bed to see if it would help my sleep patterns. It didn't. I actually felt like I slept worse, but I do feel like whenever I have a really big change in routine, I get a lot of anxiety. And whenever my anxiety is heightened, it usually affects my sleep. And of course, I thought that limiting my screen time, especially at night during this experiment, would sort of lead to better sleep or better sleep habits. But I think that in my personal life and work, I just have had a lot going on, and we're getting ready for summer reading, which is a really big time for most librarians. So I think I've just been really stressed out with work and trying to balance work-life stuff. But that being said, we know my screen time was down. I actually really did stick to not ignoring the limit for really anything. I don't think I ignored the limit on any social media. I am really proud of myself to say that I didn't ignore the limit on other social media. I didn't have a limit on Goodreads because I didn't think that would be something I needed. But maybe next time I will. But I wanted to go over what my goals were for this week and how many of them I accomplished. So I wanted to organize and clean my office. I wanted to organize and clean my bookshelves. I wanted to get my taxes done. I needed to edit 2 vlogs. I needed to go through all of my Pango books and determine what I wanted to keep on Pango and then list different Pango books. I also wanted to go through my Pango books, but also books that I'm unhauling and seeing if the ones that were already listed on Pango, if I wanted to keep them on there, and then the ones that I was unhauling, I had to determine what I was going to do with those, which meant either used bookstore, friends with the library, or selling on Pango. I wanted to organize my files. I wanted to organize my art corner downstairs. I needed to generally clean my house after doing all the spring cleaning, and I wanted to pack the books that were not being listed on Pango into my car. So I actually got everything done except for packing the books into my car. I have not done that yet, but I'm hopefully gonna do that today or tomorrow. But I got everything done, and that was really huge because those were projects that I've had lingering for months. So I definitely think that swapping my screen time for productivity definitely works. And obviously I finished 2 whole books in that time as well. So I think overall this week was really great in terms of getting caught up on things that I wanted to do and like my reading. But my anxiety is through the roof, and I do think there's something to be said about having moments of being able to relax and just scroll through something if that's what you need, and having like the time to be mindless on social media. But there is a balance, right? I think that I can try to find that balance. But anyway, I've randomly started watching Love is Blind, and that's now taken over my life. So we've swapped productivity for other things. Anyway, thanks for coming along on this journey with me. Hopefully it was fun. I know it wasn't a ton of reading or reading updates, but I still had a lot of fun. I got a lot of things done. And yeah, if you've made it this far and you have nothing else to say, feel free to leave emojis down below that are like cleaning emojis. You know, like the soap. I think there's gloves. There's probably a mop, a broom. I don't know. And I will talk to you all next time. Bye.